This event is about one thing only. It's about getting you from scarcity in your dating life to abundance in the next 3 to 6 months. Now, obviously, we're not going to do the whole work today over the next 4 days together, over the next 4 calls. But I intend this call to be the starting point of your journey. For some of you, that means attracting your dream girl, your perfect 10 out of 10. Okay. For others, meeting and dating an abundance of stunning girls every single week. And look, I'm not, at the end of the day, I'm not the one who's going to decide for you which one is best. Okay. Which lifestyle suits you best. I'm not the one deciding here. The only thing I can do, quite frankly, is to give you the tools to make your vision come true. Okay. So this event is absolutely perfect for guys who ended a long-term relationship, maybe guys who got divorced. You know, if you feel like you've lost your edge, if you haven't dated for a very long time, you're looking to get back into the dating game, this is going to be for you. If you've never had abundance in your dating life, maybe you're a virgin, maybe you're a much older guy. I've had clients in their 70s. Okay. So if you're a much older guy, this is going to help you a lot. Okay. If you're tired of relying on luck, if you're tired of relying on maybe a small social circle, a small group of friends, you're tired of going with your buddies at the bar and getting a beer and nothing, experiencing nothing, basically, this event is for you. Okay. And lastly, this event is absolutely perfect for the driven guys, the guys who are success oriented. And I'll go a little bit personal here. You know, I believe that the guys who perform best in my program tend to be very career focused. I've had a lot of business guys, lawyers, doctors, military men, lots of engineers, real estate brokers, salespeople, athletes. All these guys, basically, they have a very capitalist mindset. They have a very entrepreneurial mindset. They believe that, you know, life is a competition. You're the master of your destiny. Okay. And they're not expecting me or the fucking government to come and hold their hand in this dating journey. Okay. In scientific terms, these guys, the guys who succeed the best, they have a very strong internal locus of control. An internal locus of control, basically, put a little picture here, is this idea that, you know, you believe deep inside that you're the one controlling your destiny. Okay. And people who have a strong external locus of control, typically poor people, okay, non-entrepreneurial people, they believe that they're the result of their circumstances. Okay. And there's this amazing quote from the author of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is, you're not the product of your circumstances, you're the product of your decisions. Right. So we're gonna see this idea coming back over and over again. And so if you're a guy and you've accomplished a lot in your career and you're looking to translate the same kind of success in your dating life by taking a success-oriented approach, or maybe you're a guy on the rise, you're a younger guy like me, you have a lot of ambition, a lot of drive, this event is going to be for you. Okay. So I'm going to share over the next 4 days, and you see, it's going to take me a lot of time. It's going to take me a lot of time. And in between those calls, you're also going to be taking a lot of action if you want results. Okay. You have to imagine that I'm trying to share with you in just 4 calls what I'm sharing with my clients in 3 months. Okay. Sometimes 6 months. So obviously it's going to take me time. And what you'll quickly notice again is that this system is going to work better for the guys who are capitalist. Okay, deeply capitalist. At the end of the day, you know, women are attracted to conquerors. They're attracted to kings. They're attracted to emperors, guys who can see them and take them to a better place in life. Okay, this is why women are attracted to adventure. They're attracted to successful guys in general. So if you're the guy who sits at home, jerks off, expect a 10 out of 10 to show up naked on your doorstep with some kind of magic trick, this is not for you. Like, you're not gonna feel well in this event. Okay, you're not gonna feel well. This event is going to be an opportunity for you to make a radical change in your life. Okay, and let me make this clear, because right now we're tackling the foundation of my entire vision for dating and success. This is not about sex. This is not about getting laid. It's about so much more. This is about freedom. This is about connection. This is about love. If it was just about sex, think about it for a sec. You would go and buy a prostitute, right? You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't try to learn how to have massive abundance in your dating life. Okay. This event is about creating moments. You'll see this idea come back over and over again. Okay. And you'll very quickly notice that this is a journey. Okay. We're going to be journey oriented, not results oriented. Now, I want to start. I want to make sure everybody's listening properly. Everybody can hear the sound. Everybody can see me properly with the frame of the camera. And once I see a bunch of yeses, I'm actually going to start with the first story of this event. All right. Just so you know, guys, I have this little weird red line. I don't know how to make it disappear. I don't even see myself in the camera right now. I don't see myself, and I don't hear myself. So, and I have to manually accept all the newcomers into the call. So I'm kind of like all over the place, but I'm trying to make this work. Okay. So yes. Awesome. So we're going to start with this first story. And I call this story my American one night stand. I'm going to tell you my very first one night stand. Okay. And for the record, I was 18 years old at the time. It's not the first girl I fucked, but it's the first time that I brought a girl home the very first night, and I had sex the very first night. Okay. And I had met prior to this night, I had met my mentor, Mr. Jamal. Maybe you've heard of the guy before. I've talked about it extensively. And basically, I had met this guy, spent a few days with him, being like, locked in, focused, learning what I could from this guy. And yeah, I mean, that night that I'm going to tell you, I just took that girl home, and it's a beautiful story. So basically what happened is we went to that very exclusive nightclub in Paris. And typically in those clubs, if you're a guy, okay, you're required to spend thousands of dollars to get in the club, right? You get in for the doorman, you say hi, and then you say you want to take bottle service, and then you get in. When you're a girl, on the opposite, it's completely free. And in fact, you get invited by those nightclub promoters who are guys paid by the club to bring women into the venue. And so on the one hand, in this club, you have rich guys, rich high status guys. And on the other hand, you have those young, hot girls, right? And you have to understand, I mean, I was none of those things, right? I was just an 18-year-old kid, completely broke, no girls around. And in fact, the only reason I got in is because, let me accept those guys. Sorry, guys. The only reason I got in is because Mr. Jamal knew the doorman. The venue is beautiful, hot girls everywhere. And you would honestly struggle to find a girl who's below an 8 out of 10. Okay. Because these clubs, you have to understand, like the way these clubs work is they have model agencies to fill their venues. So it's a crazy world. And we got in basically, and Mr. Jamal started approaching women at the bar, and the guy is just brilliant. He can approach literally like any girl, make them laugh instantly. He can sexualize the conversation very quickly, make them aroused, like all that cool stuff. Okay. And me, I'm just this 18-year-old kid, almost a virgin. At this point, I've slept with maybe 4 or 5 girls in my life. And I find myself with all these rich, high status guys in the 30s and a bunch of 20-year-old models. And I spent the first half of the night in Mr. Jamal's shadow, to be honest, right? Just looking at what he does and all that stuff. And every time he approaches a girl, I approach a friend, right? I'm like the follower in this story. And what I do with those girls that I approach, I only focus on 3 techniques, okay? The 3 things that are the most important things that Mr. Jamal taught me very early on. He taught me, the afternoon earlier, he said, look, tonight we're going to go out. You're only going to focus on those 3 things, okay? And I'm going to tell you later on what those are. So anyway, I talked to these girls, focus on the 3 techniques, right? But the problem is after 45 minutes, Mr. Jamal is already locked in with a gorgeous Norwegian model, right? And I know, because I've seen this the night before, I know it's a matter of minutes before the guy just takes the girl home, okay? So I'm completely on my own. The guy is with a fucking Norwegian model. I'm by myself, and I know that I need to basically just take action myself. I just can't rely on Mr. Jamal anymore. Now, you have to understand the upside of these venues is that since the entry is so harsh on guys, it's so hard for a guy to get in. Like, you literally have to spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. The guys who actually get in, they're considered cool guys, high value guys. right? And so the girls inside are much nicer to them. So it's very hard. It's not like a mainstream student nightclub where you can get rejected left and right. It's more of a chill atmosphere where, you know, if you go to a smoking area, for example, you sit down and people are nice and girls don't really reject you that much. Okay. So I'm not saying it's easy to fuck girls there. It's not easy to bring girls to your place, but it's easy to have a foot in the door. It's easy to do the first step. Okay. So I'm by myself and I go to the smoking area. Okay. Grab a seat, light a cigarette. Okay. And very casually, I say hi to this hot girl next to me. Okay. And her name is Abigail. She is literally the cliche of, I don't know if you've seen this show. It's called Emily in Paris. It's basically the story of an American chick. I think she's from Chicago or something. She goes to Paris, right, to get fucked. She studies fashion design, and it's basically her lifestyle in Paris, like her luxurious lifestyle in Paris. Completely unrealistic, but at the same time, it's what happens to a lot of girls here in Paris. So it's the total cliche of the American brunette who studies fashion design in Paris. Okay, Abigail is 22 years old, and yeah, I mean, she's here in Paris. She wants to discover life, basically. So what I do is I focus on those 3 techniques, right? But this time it's just different. It's everything clicks better. Everything I say works better. She laughs. Everything I say just hits home, right? She's just into it. And after 15 minutes of conversation, everything's going perfectly. But I see this guy coming into the smoking area. And he stares at Abigail and she says with a thick French accent, I would have a hard time doing it because it's such a thick accent, but he says something like, "You need to come to the table. We're waiting for you." Okay. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Is it her boyfriend? Is it a guy she met earlier? And in my mind, you know, I'm like, I'm already accepting the fact that I'm fucked, right? She's going to leave me with that older guy, especially the guy's older than me, right? But none of this happens, okay? And instead, what she does is she looks at the guy with a little bit condescending, and she said with a hand gesture like this, right? She says, "Stop forcing me to stay at your table. I want to smoke a cigarette here." And in my head, I'm like, fuck, she's dishing the guy for me. Am I dreaming or what? And I'm like, I don't know if you've seen Spider-Man, but when Spider-Man spits some shit from his hands, at some point he looks at his hands and he's like, this shit is powerful, right? Like when you discover superpower. And this is kind of like what I felt when I used those very simplistic techniques and I had the immediate results. The girl was into me. Right. So anyway, the guy left the area. He was just a nightclub promoter, which means that he was a guy paid by the club to keep her dancing at the table, basically. And all of this happened while my mentor, Mr. Jamal, was this Norwegian chick was watching me from the other side of the room. Okay. So at this point, everything's just back to normal. She's hot. She loves me. The techniques I use work wonderfully. And everything goes well until I make this little mistake. And I call this mistake self-sabotaging. Because in my mind, everything's going too good. Right? It's like, it's too good. It's too fast, right? It's like, imagine like you win the lottery, right? And you instantly become rich. How would that make you feel? Do you think you would become smart about your money? No, because you get rich too fast. So it's kind of like the same thing. I know the girl's into me. I mean, I've seen it from my own eyes, but I don't know what to do next. And I know that the next step is sex. I know this, but I don't know how to get there. And so at this point, I look at her, I look at Abigail and I say, look, listen, you go back to your little table. I stay with my friend, AKA Mr. Jamal, and we meet up later. Because in my mind, I was like, okay, if she likes me now, I know that I can only bring that girl home in maybe an hour when it's like late at night. So in between, I don't really know what to do. So I'm just going to tell her to go back to her situation, and I do my thing on the side. And once I say this, I mean, she looks at me a little bit surprised, and she's obviously disappointed. She stands up, she starts leaving the smoking area, and I go back to Mr. Jamal. And when I go back to him, that's when I understand the massive mistake I've made, right? And he says, like, "What the fuck are you doing, Max?" And he's like, basically, he's like, "Go back to her right now and don't let her go." Okay, I realized at this point that, okay, I fucked up. I could have pulled the trigger, but I didn't. And so I said to Mr. Jamal, I say, "Okay, but what do I do?" And he says, literally, "Close the fucking deal, make out with her and take that girl home." Okay. So I don't think twice. I literally rush to the door, grab her by the arm, and I grab her by the arm literally last second before she goes back to her VIP table. And I say, what do I say, guys? Imagine, what do I say? What do I say? I say, "Fight for me," with a smirk on my face. Okay. So I say, "Fight for me." And then she looks at me a little bit surprised, and I say, "I put you through a test. I thought I wanted to see if you would fight for me when I tell you to go back to your friends." Okay. And she says, "Oh, like, I was not sure if you really liked me." And then it's all a joke, and we start making out, and I ask her where she lives. Because at the time I still live with my parents, so there's no way I can bring her girl back to my place. And then I say, "You know what? I know a great place. I know a great place to eat right next to where you live." And when I say this, she grabs her phone, she orders an Uber, and we leave the venue together. And funny enough, she orders the Uber directly at her place. Like we never went to grab some food next to her place. Okay, this never happened. We went directly to her place. And once we arrive at her place, I discover a really cute Parisian apartment. And guys, like, the girl's even hotter than I thought. She goes from being an 8 to being a 9. And I think maybe it's the poetry of the moment. When you make this happen, I'll tell you later on what I really felt. But when you make this happen, you feel on top of the world. Okay. And long story short, that night we had an amazing one-night stand. She told me later on that she literally never does this, but girls' language, felt like doing it. Okay. Girls' language again. So after we have sex, I sleep at her place. And the next day, she literally, so cute, like she writes me her phone number on a piece of paper. And that's how I had literally my first one-night stand with Abigail, the gorgeous American girl. So guys, this was a story. Were you able to relive that moment with me? So why do I tell you all this? Basically, it's not to brag, and it's certainly not to impress you, because this story in itself, I mean, it's not very impressive. Maybe some of you guys have already had a one-night stand before. Oh, it's nothing spectacular. What's spectacular to me is that, first of all, the girl was extremely hot. That's the first thing. And it was partly due to the environment itself. I found myself at the right time, right? Doing the right thing, pulled the trigger at the right moment. But the story is spectacular to an 18-year-old kid. To me, it was phenomenal. I felt on top of the world because I was able, really what happened is I was able to create a moment. And for one of the first times in my life, I really felt in the driver's seat of my life. In fact, every big epiphany or every big moment in this dating journey that happened, I felt in the driver's seat of my life. And that's a feeling that I don't think a lot of people have. And it's very sad. It's very sad if you've never felt that. It's a feeling of freedom, because I don't care about sex. I mean, sure, sex is good, but I don't care about that. If I really cared about sex, I would buy a prostitute, and I've never done that in my life. Okay, so how does that make sense? The goal of this story is to show you that wherever you are in your dating life, you can do much better. Okay, the point is not for you to go and live in Paris and fuck an American girl. Like, that's just my story. That's my journey. Okay. But the funny thing is, Stories like this have happened all over the world with the movement I've built and the clients I've helped. We have on the left, we have, I forgot his first name. I think his first name is Carlos or something like this. But basically, he posted in my group a while ago. He said, I met this chick yesterday at a sushi bar, and she is far more than what I could imagine. Okay, far better than what I could get. And then we have Gene, one of my clients. He says, I have a date lined up with the doctor on Thursday, Friday morning with a nurse. I hope they do not work together. Okay. And then on the right, we have my legendary client, Lawrence, who literally slept with 4 women in a day. Okay. All these guys, Lawrence is in Australia. Gene is in the US. Carlos is in the US as well. Like, all these guys have various different profiles and stories, but they're living it. They're making it a reality. The world is full of opportunities right now, and you're not even aware of it. There are literally hundreds of women who would be delighted to meet you and go on an adventure with you. I don't care where you live. I don't care if you hate going to clubs. This shit is a mindset. And I've made this work anywhere. Myself, I've lived in Canada for several years. And I've had insane, beautiful stories. I've lived in Eastern Europe as well. Same spiel. All you have to do is start. And this is what this event is all about. Guys, do you feel inspired by this shit? I hope you do. I'll look. Is it better to only have the girl give you their number? Blah, blah, okay. I'm 41. Okay, so Trent, you say you're 41. Basically, bro, I hope this answers your question, because I've got clients literally in their 50s, their 60s, their 70s, right? And I try to highlight these guys. I try to make them characters in the story of my business, like Lawrence, Patrick, all these guys. But anyway, what I want to say is, Abigail, she did not sleep with me because I was rich. She did not sleep with me because I had status. She liked me for who I was. And here I quote Mr. Jamal, my mentor, who used to say, you can use techniques to get a girl attracted, but you cannot fake who you are to keep a girl attracted. And ultimately, that's what this accelerator is all about. This event is not, it's not about teaching you techniques that you're not going to be able to sustain long-term. Right? We're going to see the entire blueprint that I use later on, but it's not just going to be techniques. Okay. I got Abigail attracted to me in the first place, but once I did that, she resonated with who I was, with my real life, what I shared of my life. Okay. And that's why she wanted to see me again. It was not just a one-time thing. So again, this event is about, freedom, and it's about having the confidence. It's about building that confidence deep inside that you can literally walk up to any goal you like and create that moment. You can be dropped anywhere in the world, any city, any country. You can make shit happen. You can find and attract the best woman for your life. Okay. And I want to talk to you about this show. A beautiful show. It's called Undercover Billionaire. If you guys don't know what it is, basically it's what they do is every season they take a billionaire, literally a billionaire, and they give him $100. They build a fake identity, okay, and they give him an old truck, and they drop the guy in a random city in the US with the goal of building $1 million business in 90 days. So the guy is literally stripped from everything that made him successful, like no network, no money, no nothing. And the only thing he has, quite frankly, is just the skill set and obviously the love of the game. And what's interesting is to understand, why would a billionaire do this show? Why would a billionaire do this show and this challenge? And I think it's because the love of the game. And it's because a lot of the business guys, once they have money, they're not really after money. They're really after the game itself, the love of the game, the process. And so you have this shift that happens. It's like, it's not about the results, it's about the process. And it's the same with dating. If you want to become really successful, you're going to have to become process oriented. It's not just about getting, fucking a girl. It's about like becoming a better guy and building your options and your abundance in your journey. So I discovered this show maybe a year ago, but what happened is I kind of did my own undercover player thing when I was 18 years old. So after I had this one night stand and I had some more success, I went on a journey and I decided, look, I'm going to do this thing. Like, I'm going to commit to this journey. And what I did something unusual. I took my backpack with my best friend and literally almost zero money in my pocket, and left everything behind for an entire month. And we traveled across south of France. And what we did is very simple. Oh, shit. What we did was very simple. The first thing we did is, obviously we had no money. So we knocked on people's doors during the day and we asked to plant a tent in their garden. Why did we do this? Well, because we went to the best spots in France, in south of France. We went to very exclusive places, expensive areas where you would have to basically be rich to rent a place, and we didn't have the money. So what we did is we asked people to host us, and then what we would do is we would go to literally the best clubs, the best area for picking up girls at night. That was our lifestyle. Okay. And the reason why I did this, because I wanted to build that mentality that, you can drop me anywhere and I will survive. I'll even thrive. Okay. And so here, for example, I have guys, and when you do some crazy shit like this, a bunch of stories happen to you. But one of the stories is you have this picture on the left. This is basically a house that we knocked on. And it was a grandma in her 70s. She hosted us for a night. So we asked to plant a tent in their garden, but then she hosted us inside the house for the first night. And then the next day, so a complete stranger, by the way. The next day, we told her, the next day, she told us that she would leave for 3 days and go to another city for 3 days, but she felt bad about kicking us out. So what happened is she left us her house after just 24 hours of meeting her. She left us her house for an entire 3 days. Okay. And this was fucking crazy. We had some crazy one night stands. We brought girls the first night and even the second night. So crazy stories, right? And here you have some pictures of me at the time, just, talking to some chicks. Those were like girls in a van. Some stories, guys, I don't even remember, but I do have those stories. Anyway, so I basically became that undercover player, right? And that experience built my start from scratch mentality. And the big revelation was that, during that time, I realized how much life I wasted. I don't even want to say time, because time equals life. When you're wasting your time, you're wasting your life. I realized how much of my life I wasted for all these years, not taking action, not taking the leap of faith. Okay. And time is all you have. So I made a promise to myself that I would stop wasting my life. And I never wanted to lay on my deathbed thinking, what if? And then everything just accelerated. I followed Mr. Jamal across Europe on his crazy adventures. I got mentored. A couple months later, I flew across the world from Paris to Canada. Okay. After I got mentored, I flew to Canada, and there, I studied at McGill. Anyway, a bunch of shit happened. I'm not going to tell you my whole story, but I also launched a nightlife promotion agency in Montreal. And my job was basically to bring dozens of hot girls in the club. And then I started coaching guys as well for fun at first. And then I shared that elite dating system to, thousands of guys across the world. And here, I had a little fun putting together those two pictures of me at 16 virgin, friend zoned by two average chicks. And me 4 years later, literally living my dream life in Canada. And that night, I had an epic night. I was, I was surrounded with 8 beautiful girls that night. And it's kind of like the night where I thought my vision came true. Like everything I ever wanted in my dating life, it just came true. Okay. So I don't know where you are, guys. I don't know where you are in your journey, but I know that right now you have a story to write. And I don't want you to be caught up in, comparing yourself to me, comparing yourself to my age, my location, my story. Like you don't need to be a homeless in south of France to learn that elite dating system. Okay. These things don't matter. This is my story. I made it mine. What matters is that, you right now, you can do much better with your life than you're doing. Okay. You can do much better than what you're currently doing. And this brings me to this, to this new chapter, your elite dating journey. I want this event to be the starting point of your journey, a journey towards freedom, adventure, abundance. Okay. This event is not called watch Max Bel from the comfort of your couch and do nothing. It's not called attract your soulmate in 4 days. It's called the accelerator, the elite dating accelerator. Okay. And this is a picture that I show literally every single client of mine. This is Warren Buffett net worth over time. And it illustrates, it's a real case study to show you what the compound effect really is. When you start putting in the work, things in life are going to accelerate. Okay. You might start the first 4 days and it's going to feel like crap. It's going to feel like a lot of discomfort, but then, you're going to keep putting in the work over the next few months, implementing that shit. And you're going to find yourself in 4 years from now, literally living your dream life. So you have to trust the process. Okay. And, when you do take action, things like this are going to happen to you. This is my client, Lars. He's a high performer expert. He's actually coaching other guys, other entrepreneurs with their high performance. And he texted me, 5 days, 5 girls, 5 dates these days. Okay. That's what happens when you take action. And I can guarantee you this, when he started the program with me, he felt like shit. The first 2 weeks were complete crap for him. He got rejected left and right. And this is him 90 days into doing the things that he started doing in the first few days. You understand? So you're going to do things that are not going to feel good, but then 90 days down the road, they're going to change completely your life. So this brings me to the very first assignment of this event. Okay. And it's called the Elite Dating Prophecy. I want you to make your dreams a reality. Okay. It's time for you to write your elite dating prophecy. Your time is scarce and it's time for you to level up. So I'm going to show you a document right here. So this document, you're going to have free access to it. Okay. It's part of the bundle that I'm giving you access to. And basically I want you to print this. Okay. And I want you to fill this in. Fill this out. Sorry, I think. So step 1 is basically, okay, what's your name? What's your age, your location, occupation, relationship status? Okay. And where you're at in your dating life. And I want you to pause for a minute at your answers. Okay. What your current dating life looks like. I want you to ask yourself, are you happy with this shit? Okay. Are you disappointed at yourself? Are you pissed off? Do you sense the urgency to act and level up? And then step 2 is where would you want to be 6 months down the road? Describe your dream dating life and why you haven't achieved it yet. Is it a lack of guidance? Is it a lack of a step-by-step method? Is it a lack of accountability? Is it a lack of feedback? Okay. And what actions you need to take to achieve that dream life in the next 6 months? And these kinds of questions and self-assessment you're going to do now, these are typically things that we can also do one-on-one on a call. If you haven't heard of the opportunity, right now I have a few spots on my schedule. If you guys want to talk, you can, book a call with me and I'm going to ask you those questions and I'm also going to give you feedback on it. Okay. Anyway, so that's the first thing. And then I want you to ask yourself what kind of man you are, what kind of life you want to live. And what are the ideal companions for that life? The ideal women, the ideal friends. It's not just about girls. Again, it's a journey. It's about, who are the ideal mentors? Who are the ideal friends? The ideal wingmen. Okay. And the last thing I want you to do is I want you to make the pledge. This is an agreement between yourself and yourself. And it's basically that I want you to tell yourself that you are going to start this journey. And it starts today, that you're committing to your dreams. Okay. If you don't have this handbook yet, message me the word handbook, either on Facebook, Telegram, email, and I'll send it to you for free. Okay. So if you guys want this PDF I just showed you and you want to print it, message me the word handbook and I'll send it to you. You can message me on Facebook, Telegram, and email. Okay. All right. So with that being said, let's dive into now it's a good time for me to explain my methodology, basically. So you have to understand the elite dating system, what I teach to my clients, what I apply to myself in my life, what my mentor taught me, what my mentor uses in his life, is a framework that's based on the science of achievement. If you haven't read this book called Peak, it's an amazing book. It's fantastic. It basically breaks down, and I have it here, by the way. It basically breaks down how elite athletes achieve success. Okay. And it shows you the patterns to getting success. One of the patterns is obviously having coaching and mentors and learning from some people who have achieved what you want to do, basically. The second pattern is what they call, the two guys are Anders Ericsson and Robert Poole. And the two guys have built this concept of deliberate practice. It's kind of like a unique concept that I haven't heard anywhere else. And deliberate practice means basically you're taking a specific action to get a specific outcome. To make it simple, that's when you start becoming smart about the process. And instead of trying to, approach 1,000 girls in 3 months, I see those guys typically in the pickup artist communities. There are those guys who are trying to approach like 30 women a day. Right? This is crazy action. It's too much. And it's, most importantly, it's not very smart. So deliberate practice is the opposite of that. It's taking smart action. And the third pattern that he highlights is repetition. Okay. And so repetition is repeating what works over and over and over and over again. And that's what I want to teach you here. I want to teach you seduction with what we call the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle is basically the idea that 20% of your efforts are going to bring in 80% of your results. Okay, not the opposite. And so if you're focused on doing 80% of nonsense, 80% of learning weird cringe pickup artist techniques, 80% of like doing some woo-woo meditation to become confident, do 80% of no-fap and semen retention bullshit. If you're doing 80% of nonsense, you're not going to get the girls you want. And this event is about streamlining the entire process. It's about making things simple again. Okay. And I'm going to show you 3 pillars. And the first one is what I call luck engineering. I'm going to show you what this is in a minute. And I want to show you, what happened to Daniel. Maybe you've heard his story before. Daniel is one of my clients who lost his virginity literally after just one phone call. Like one phone call was all it took for him to lose his virginity with my help. Because the main thing I told him, and I know this is going to sound cliche, but it's like, get the fuck away of the Peway crap. Okay. And that's what he sent me. He says, this has probably been my best week ever. Honestly, it's nearly entirely because of what you told me about going outside the Peway/4 dating advice community and doing the things that natural playboys do. Okay. So that's where I want to take you guys. That's your journey I want to take you on. So, yes, for real, forget the mainstream dating advice. You know what? I don't know if you've heard of this. It's called Chat GPT, right? It's an AI. It's basically a super smart Google where you can ask anything you want, and it's going to give you an answer. Okay, I don't know if you've tried it. Everybody's talking about it. So I had a little bit of fun, and what I did is I went on this shit and I asked them, just for fun. I asked them, write me a script for my TikTok. I don't even have TikTok. I said, write me a script for my TikTok on how to make women attracted to you by using evolutionary psychology. Okay. And you want to see what this motherfucker said. This artificial intelligence, obviously pushed and programmed by who? The leftist, right? The Joe Biden. So the AI said, I would suggest not using evolutionary psychology, okay, as a basis for a how-to guide on attracting people. It's simple. Just be yourself. That's literally what they said. Okay. That's what they said. So, guys, you cannot trust the mainstream narrative. Okay. You cannot trust the mainstream narrative. If you listen to mainstream dating advice on YouTube and TikToks and like all these mainstream platforms, you're not going to get far. And if you listen to alpha males as well, all these guys like get jacked and make a ton of money and maybe you'll date hot girls. All these guys who are degrading women all the fucking time, insulting women, saying women are evil and all that stuff. It's honestly, maybe it's helping you guys, but honestly, it never helped me. Okay. And all I had, the only consequences from that were just me isolating myself a little bit more, thinking that I need to build my value to get girls. Okay. So instead, what we do is we use evolutionary psychology and literal studies on the female brain. We use the science of achievement. We use timeless influence principles, and we adapt all of this crap, okay, to the current dating landscape of 2023. The starting point is engineering your own luck. So let me ask you this. How many 9s and 10s have you actually met in the last 6 months? I'm talking about like women who are a potential great fit for your life. Is it 1? Is it 2? I'm actually going to look at the answer for a bit. Yeah, Steve says 2. In the last 6 months, guys, not like last week, 6 months. Hunter says 0. Nico says 0. Icarus says 2. Jason says 3. Guys, for a lot of guys in this call, I knew it. I'm close to my audience. I know what people go through, and I know it's closer to 0. And the difference between me and you, it's not so much that I fuck a bunch of hot girls. In fact, I do. But it's that I meet a lot of hot girls to begin with. I have more opportunities. Do you understand? In the past 6 months, I've had 10, 20, maybe 100 times more opportunities to meet gorgeous women and to date gorgeous women, obviously. And numbers don't lie. Right now, your problem is you're not meeting enough high-quality women. If you're not meeting at least 10 new women a week, okay? When I say meeting, it's not like you're going to date them, but it's like you're making the first move. You're saying hi. You're putting yourself in a position where potentially you could win. Okay, you and I are not playing the same game. If you're not doing this, you're not playing the same game. In fact, when my clients start working with me, they have to approach 30 girls a week. Not more, but 30 girls. And I want to show you this book. This is actually funny enough. It's a book that my mentor gave me when we started hanging out together. It's called Fanatical Prospecting. And if you guys don't know this, my mentor was a salesman initially. Okay, so sure, he was a player. He was very good with girls, but a bunch of the stuff he did was just derived from sales and marketing. And so this book, Fanatical Prospecting, you could quite frankly take this book and replace the word sales by dating and the word prospecting by approaching, and you would have a very honest translation of my worldview. when it comes to taking action and approaching women. And so here I have a little extract from the book, and I'll replace the words for you. So here it is. Players view approaching as a way of life. They approach with single-minded focus, worrying little about what other people think of them. They enthusiastically dive into their Instagram, their real-life approaches, their Facebook messages. I'm trying to convert this shit to dating stuff, right? But you get the idea. They don't make excuses. Oh, this is not a good time to approach, right? Because girls might be busy. They don't complain. They don't whine. They don't live in fear. What if she says no? What if she's not interested? They don't procrastinate. Okay. And that's the mentality you should have, to be honest. So does that make sense? The translation I've made? And here I have a very loyal example, a very honest example of my client applying that methodology to his dating life. This is Lucas, and funny enough, Lucas, he runs a sales agency. He's a salesman. Okay, he runs an agency, and he understood very, very clearly the concept of prospecting, and he applied it to his dating life by following my advice. And he says, number closed 3 girls tonight, including a pair of twins. One of them is already asking for a date. And when I show you these little screenshot, guys, you have to imagine I have folders of screenshot like this. Okay, I just don't want to bother you with showing you results after results after results. Okay, so engineering your own luck essentially means that you're going to meet women anywhere, anytime. You're going to meet women during the day, daytime approaches. You're going to meet women online using Instagram, not dating apps. I'll show you why. You'll meet women in party environments as well, nighttime approaches in bars, clubs, restaurants. You're going to meet women through your wingman, through your network, through your social circle. There's a saying, the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. If that's the case, guys, and you want to be a player, you need multiple streams of women. Here I have 4 of them. Okay, it's already good enough. And so, this is what it looks like. Cold approach, social media, and social circle. Okay, that's what you need. And the good thing, by the way, if you guys are wondering, I'm going to teach you all of that stuff over the next 3 calls. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly the schedule and how it's going to work and how I'm going to teach you all of that stuff. So you're going to learn that. And just to show you, here I have an example of a few examples of me casually starting conversations with gorgeous girls on Instagram without being famous. And in fact, I have screenshots of clients using that system. So this is literally what my inbox looks like in the morning when I leverage this system to get 2-3 days per week. We call this the Instagram system. Okay, and it's a copy and paste system for finding girls and getting dates from your Instagram account. And it also works on Facebook if you're an older guy. This is just one casual conversation I started with a girl I dated. Okay, hey, and this is, I insert her first name. Are you currently in Paris? Then she says, yes, of course, blah, blah. Why? I'm like, I just came back from Saint-Tropez. And I started a conversation like this. And you're going to see actually, I think it's going to be tomorrow and next week. You're going to see exactly how I structure conversations and use copy paste messages to get dates. Okay. And on the right, you have my client Lawrence, who leveraged that system to literally get a girl with 44,000 followers on Instagram. Okay, 44,000 followers on Instagram, and he got a reply, got a phone number, and all that stuff. So this shit works when you're not famous, and it works with girls who are famous. How crazy is that? So here's why you should not use Tinder. Here's why. The The first thing is the hottest girls, they're not on Tinder. Okay. In the past year and a half, I haven't met a single 9 or 10 who is active on dating apps. And the truth is also women don't like Tinder. They don't like spending their time on dating apps, and they prefer to spend their time on social media because they're addicted to their social media. They're not addicted to Tinder. A girl has too many dates, too many options. She's not addicted to that shit. Okay. And the other thing I hate about Tinder is the middleman. So you need to swipe on Tinder. And when I say Tinder, by the way, it's like Bumble, Hinge, like all these crappy dating apps. You need to swipe first, which is time consuming, obviously. And then you need to wait for the algorithm to show your fucking face to the girls. And you have to wait that the girls accept and swipe on you as well to then message them. And you're not even sure that you're going to convert that into a date. Could you, as a high performer, could you explain to me how this makes sense? It makes zero sense to me. Okay. So that's why I'm not using Tinder. Now, you have to understand that everything I do is kind of counterintuitive. It's kind of like the opposite of what 99% of guys are doing. Okay. If you've read this book, The Blue Ocean Strategy, basically details how guys are how businesses are winning smartly by doing things nobody else is doing. Okay. And so I meet women during the day when 99% of guys are too scared. I leverage social media instead of dating apps when 99% of guys are stuck on dating apps. And I leverage my social circle when 99% of guys are isolated and stuck with loser friends. Okay. Now, the pillar number 2 of my approach to dating, and you're going to learn that as well, is systems and scripts. Okay. So the myth is that dating is an unpredictable process, whereas in fact, it really comes down to meeting girls, getting phone numbers, getting dates, closing dates. Like it's like a straight line. I don't know if you've heard about Jordan Belfort, right? He built that process called the straight line persuasion selling. And it's basically the idea that, if you want to sell something, if you want to close somebody, you got to take that person through a straight line, boom, like this, right? And that's kind of like the approach that my mentor taught me when he took me under his wing. Okay. You have to understand seduction is kind of like a chess game. Okay. It's never static. So everything you say, everything you do is moving you either forward or backward. It's getting you closer to sex or further away from it. There's no in between. And so if you're not realistic and rational and conscious of this ever evolving game, you're never going to win. Okay. But instead, if you have like a very rational perspective at things, then you can win. And it becomes very fucking easy. Okay. You have to ask yourself something guys never ask themselves is, what perception does the girl have of me? What does she know about me? Ask yourself, like, the last time you messaged a girl, look at your texting conversation and ask yourself, what did you share about yourself? What did you share about you being high value? What dynamic is it in the conversation? Are you chasing her? Is it chasing you? Right? Who is higher value? Like, ask yourself those questions. This is very important. The seduction game is not about what you feel. It's not about what happens in your mind. It's what happens in her mind. Okay, you want to get in her pants. So she has to feel a certain way. And if you fail at conveying that, you're fucked. Okay, and this is why I spent, months of my life trying to write this shit and putting those concepts into the attraction script. Okay, if you guys did not read it yet, it's a great condensed version of what are the good things to say to a girl, to shift her perception, to convey yourself in a high value way, to control the dynamic of the conversation. And so basically what you're going to learn in this event is, number one, the attraction system, Okay, how to meet and attract women in real life, and also the online system, the Instagram system. Okay, and this shit works, right? Remember Lucas, who got some phone numbers? Well, now he's texting me. Slept with 2 girls since the start of the program. 2 new girls this week. 4 new girls since the start of the program. This is what happens when you take consistent action. We got Jeremiah, who says, speaking of closing, I closed last night with one of my dates from last week. I'm loving this stuff. Okay. We got Talik, who says, man, I'm so grateful for this program. I went out this weekend to test out the system he taught me. And within a few hours, I got the snapshots of at least 5 different girls, all 8s and above. All right. So now the last part of this system, this elite dating framework, is what I call high value optimization. Okay. And so high value optimization is this idea that, the seduction process is incredibly superficial. Yes, I agree. My dating systems and scripts are fantastic for that superficial aspect of things, but they're useless for retaining women. And so if you're trying to build a great dating life, you're going to need both seduction and a great product. You're going to need to be a great guy with a lot of things to offer a girl. You cannot just be a loser and you're living in your mom's basement. It doesn't work that way. And so it's like building a great business. You want to have great marketing and you want to have a great product. And in dating, the product is you. Like, what are you bringing to the table? Okay. Because guys believe that money is the only way to increase your value. And this is where guys get confused. And this is where, I'm laughing a lot because a lot of my clients are millionaires. They're millionaires, yet their value isn't optimized, because when girls come to them, they're trying to take their money, they're trying to use them, they're trying to manipulate them. And they ask me for advice because I went through this journey when I was dead broke, when I was an 18-year-old kid, and I had to learn how to build and convey my value with no money. Okay, so money is not equal to value. This is false. Value is a holistic thing. It's your frame. It's your reality. It's how you convey yourself. It's being in shape physically. It's having a great style. It's having an amazing lifestyle, adventure, having a network, right? Having a strong social circle. And so, on this event, I'm going to teach you all these things, especially on the last day. On the last day, we're going to talk about social circle, how to build a great lifestyle, right? How to build a great lifestyle. I'm going to show you of the mentors that I had as well. Here I have my clients, Ali. Ali has a very interesting story. Basically, he's a real estate broker, and he makes very good money. And money is definitely not the problem for attracting girls to him. Right? The problem is high value optimization and the way he conveys himself. And so, he texted me a few weeks into the program. He says, a very hot shisha waitress was being bitchy. I mirrored her action and held my frame while my wingman was trying to game her being a nice guy. She ended up calling him a bro, and she asked for my Instagram. Frame control and being grounded. What the fuck? Right? He didn't say what the fuck. He said FTW. I don't know what this means. But anyway. And here I have like another picture of the guy with a hot girl that he met during the day. And I think it's just a great picture. So anyway, that's what I'm going to show you. Okay. And here I have like another screenshot of another client. This guy, I absolutely cannot reveal his identity. He is a very well-known stockbroker from Australia. So, he built, with my help, an amazing lifestyle where he's meeting hot women and stuff. And that's what I want to show you, basically. Now, with that being said, when you signed up for the event, I offered you a very unique opportunity to get a one-on-one call with me. Okay, so if you see me speak and you're like, this is cool, right? But you wonder what it would feel like to have like direct feedback, because I can see right through your bullshit, the things you're not doing, the blind spots. Like I can tell you all of that stuff if we have like a one-on-one conversation. So if you want that, well, there's an opportunity right now to book a one-on-one strategy call with me. You know, Benjamin Franklin said, by failing to plan, you're preparing to fail. And so that's the point of this call. It's to have like to map out a 90-day game plan for you to change your life. Okay, I want this event to be transformative. I want it to be as transformative as my coaching program. So if you guys are interested in this, you can either message me strategy on Facebook, Telegram, email, whatever you want, and we'll find a time that works for us. Or you can, I'll try to copy and paste this shit. I don't know if I can in the chat, but I'll try. Yeah. Oh yeah, I can. Let me see if it works. So okay. Yes. So I just sent you in the chat, guys. If you're interested in booking a call with me, a one-on-one call, you can do it right now. Okay. And just so you know, once this event is over, like my coaching team is gonna take those calls for me. Okay. So you might not have like, you know, right now I have a bunch of spots available. In the next few days or a few weeks, it might not be the case. Okay, so if you want to talk to me directly one-on-one, well, do it. Okay, you can book a call right here. Now, with that being said, okay, right now the doors of my coaching program, they're closed until March 2023. Okay, so if on this call, when we're going to have the one-on-one strategy call, I will basically, if I see that you're a good fit, which is not for everybody, again, my coaching program is not for everybody. So if I see that you're a good fit, I might offer you the chance to work with me and join our coaching program. Okay. This is only if I feel like I can truly help you achieve your goals, that we're a good fit. And if that's the case, then you will have a chance to join our program when the doors reopen in March 2023. Okay. But let me say this. If you don't join the program for some reason, maybe you're not a good fit, whatever it is, you'll still have clarity, I guess. You still have like this 90-day game plan where, you know, basically you can do, I'll tell you what you should be doing anyway. Okay. And so if you don't join the program, you will have the opportunity to do what I told you on your own. Okay. So either way, you win. I want to make this very clear. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to open the space for anybody who has questions. All right. And if you want, again, there's a few documents. If you want, first of all, if you want these notes, you can message me notes on Facebook, Telegram, email. And if you want the handbook, the PDF that I showed you earlier with the questions, the self-assessment, the elite dating prophecy, you can message me handbook. Okay. Handbook on Facebook, Telegram, email, and I'll also send it to you for free. Okay. And tomorrow, when we're going to have our call, we're going to meet at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So guys, this is just a start. If you are already thinking, this is hard, I got to meet up again tomorrow, like, you're fucked. You're never going to be successful. Okay. If you cannot commit 2 hours in a weekend, okay, once in your life, in the start of the year, you're not going to be successful. So with that being said, anybody who has questions, you can unmute yourself right now and you can ask me your questions.